Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today it is the 6th of April, so I'm starting week 2 of Camp Nanowrimo. And one of the things I realized last week was that I was really struggling with long writing sessions for this book, so I thought the perfect way to address that issue would be to do some writing sprints. And the good news is that because I took a few months off writing earlier this year, I have a bunch to catch up on. So, for the next 1 hour and 52 minutes and 56 seconds, I'm going to be going along with the recording of a live writing stream that Kate Kavanagh did a month or so ago.
Oh, Christina was going to get ice cream before this started. What an excellent decision. Doesn't it?
So one of the issues I have is that over the past few days I've been writing in a combination of for the words and just a document, and because I've been struggling to get into this book, I've been writing whatever I can think of, so I'm taking a moment to organise it before we get into the first sprint.
Oh no, did I start it? Oh, panic. Okay, stop, reset, okay. 1, 2, go! All right, that is the first sprint down.
So it's now 7:20, which means it has been about 2 hours since I last filmed, but I have not been writing for 2 hours because I ended up getting contacted by work about another communication that had to go out, and it's actually really annoying because if a genuine emergency comes up, of course, I'm happy to work out of hours to make it okay. Like, that actually happened on Friday where we had to send out an emergency communication because OPEC had an emergency meeting and our trading terms were changing, and basically this needed to go out to stop people from losing money. So that was fine. I was online for a good 2 hours after my workday usually ends. No problem. Today, though, they wanted to do an announcement that we have new shares, and it was supposed to go live today, but I didn't hear anything before 5, so I logged off. And then after 6:30, I get this message going, okay, we're ready to go now. This needs to go out today. And it's like, well, one, even if I get it out today, it's not going to go out today around the rest of the regions where we have business because a lot of people have stopped working by now. It's too late in the day to expect them to translate everything. And two, it's not like this isn't something that could wait for tomorrow. It's not like this is something where there's been a big campaign and we've been announcing it for ages. No, it's just this happens to be the day when it was switched on. But there's no reason why the announcement couldn't happen tomorrow, so I was a bit annoyed about that. So what that means is, of my 2-hour live write-in, how far did I get through the video? I'm going to guess maybe 1 hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, oh, not even, so just under an hour. And in that time there were 2 sprints. One was 20 minutes and one was 22. The 22-minute one got split in half because of the aforementioned work. So when I add this to my spreadsheet, it means I'm going to be doing 3 mini writing sessions. And in that there was, first sprint, productive time was 20 minutes. The second one, it was 12 and then 10. And the word counts were 323 for the first sprint. I actually went through what I wrote yesterday and just fleshed it out a bit more, which I think worked really well for getting me back into the book. I know, I always find it easier to work when there's already something there, so I'm really looking forward to when I've got a draft and there's something I can revise. In the next sprint, I didn't split the word count into the 2 separate sessions, so I'll just do half in each. So that's 382 for each sprint, which is pretty good writing efficiency per minute. I was actually using for the words, and some of the monsters you can fight based on word count, so you need to write 500 words in this amount of time to win the battle. There are others which are time challenges though, and because I just had 10 minutes for the last sprint, I did 2 5-minute challenges, and with those you actually need to keep up your writing pace or else the monster catches you. So I think that's why the word count's quite high for that last one, because I was, keeping up the writing even though I wasn't sure what I was writing half the time. I'm really struggling with this scenes completed one because it's all a little bit all over the place. I'm just writing snippets that I feel like at the moment. So I think I'll just do half for each of them. Scene length equals okay, so that brings me up to 283 minutes in total, which if I divide it by 60, I know it's going to be under what it should be, but I'm curious about how much. 283 by 60, so that's 4.71 hours, and today's day 6, so I'm 1.3 hours behind schedule, which isn't too bad. I think, at least I hope, as I get through this book and start building up momentum, then I'll be able to get some longer sessions in and hit my average of an hour a day. Now, if we go to the Camp Nano website, and feeling pretty good today, at home, on a laptop, and I'm going to just make this 40 minutes because that's how long I was actually writing for. For NaNoWriMo, I'm up to 4,828 words, so making progress. Happy Tuesday. So today I went for a walk at lunchtime and I discovered there is a forest 20 minutes from my house. And if you're in Europe and this isn't a big deal, the reason this is a big deal for me is because in Australia, if I walk 20 minutes from my house, I am still surrounded by houses in the same suburb. So that was, that was kind of cool. I think I'll go back there tomorrow and see if I can get some footage. Other than that, it is a bit after 5. I finished on time today. I'm hoping there won't be any disasters tonight because I'm just a bit wiped out from the past few weeks. I feel like my job has been 100% doing communications about market activity and changes to margin and financial chaos. And I just don't have the time to look at any of the regular stuff. And, you know, it's been 3-4 weeks now and it's starting to catch up on me. So really hoping the rest of this week is just calm and I can write. So my plan for tonight is to finish doing the live write-in that I was working on yesterday. There's another hour left, which I assume will mean another 30 to 40 minutes of writing time. After that, I'm not sure if I'll continue writing or if I'll just call it a night. I think I'll see how I feel. And the reason for that is, even though I'm behind on my 1 hour a day target, I don't think it makes sense to burn myself out, especially this early in the month. I'm hoping though that because this is a long weekend, then I can catch up. Also, before I start writing, can we take a moment to admire the collection of cups and bottles that have made their way to my desk so far? My desk at work does not get this messy, I promise you. I am done. I've been in the write-in for an hour now, or 58 minutes if we're going to be really precise, and of that I spent 43 minutes writing, and I wrote 1,034 words according to For the Words. So now I'm going to update the NaNoWrimo website as well as my spreadsheet, and I'm definitely not going to write any more this evening. I am feeling a bit spent. However, I'm considering spending a little bit more time to do some more brainstormy, planny type work, because that will help in the coming days. And I have some really good questions that have come from one of my subscribers, Dawn, who I mentioned in a past video. So if you go and check out my Camp NaNoWrimo Week 1 video, you'll see she's written this essay with a couple of really helpful tips for writing. And one of them was to use a visualization exercise. So what she's written is, sit back, close your eyes and imagine the glare of the prisoner, the scent of the prison cell, the decay or cleanliness around the point of view character, the sounds from the other prisoners, the expression of the prisoner or the sound of the point of view character's heartbeat, the emotional impact of seeing this person and how their body language tells you or doesn't tell you something about them. Even though she suggested this as like a visualization exercise, I feel like when I close my eyes and imagine it, everything's very vivid. Maybe it isn't if I'm struggling to write it though. But when I think about things, it feels like they're very vivid. I feel like everything's very much alive in my head. It just loses all of the details when I try to put it onto paper. So I'm going to write down some of these questions for the next scene that I'm working on. And hopefully that means when I sit down tomorrow to start writing again, I'll have a little bit of an easier time of it and hopefully be able to write longer. Maybe I'll even hit an hour, who knows? I will see you then. Today is Friday the 10th of April and I've had a 2-day break from working on my book. Actually, technically, I did do a little bit of work yesterday, but it was just some thinking time. So Wednesday, there was just a bit of personal and professional stuff going on and I needed the day off. Yesterday, I was just being a bit lazy, so I did like 15 minutes of going through what I already had with the intention of then sitting down to work once I got to the end of my workday. But by the time I got to the end of my workday, it was the end of the week after a very long few weeks where everything's just been so chaotic and I've had so much to get done that I was feeling a little bit burnt out by it. So had a lazy night last night with the intention of making it back over this 3-day weekend. So I've just finished a 2-hour session. I started at 3 p.m. and finished at 5 p.m. And that was writing time, but it was time. I haven't actually written a new scene. I actually went through a couple of the things that I already have and just added to them and fleshed them out. Because I was trying to flesh things out though, I actually spent a lot of time on Google Street View. So this book takes place in New York, where I've been there a number of times, but obviously I'm not a local. I can't just go out and pick the buildings I like and where I want it to be. So I was on Street View basically exploring Chelsea because I know that's where Kara, the object of our protagonist's affection, lives. And trying to add in all of the details that I'd left blank last time, like what the building looks like and so on. So in that 2-hour session, there were 68 minutes of productive time, and I wrote 883 words. Word count per minute isn't very good at 12.9, but then again, I wasn't tracking really strictly. It was if I started Googling stuff and realized after a couple of minutes, okay, I'm stuck in the Googling stuff, I'm not actually writing, that's when I'd make a note, because my very sophisticated, complex method of time tracking is to simply write down the time when I start something and write it down when I finish something. So there's probably some leeway there. It wasn't 68 minutes of solid writing, but that's the information I have. In terms of scenes finished, I'm not really sure how to do that because I was building on existing ones. So I'm just going to do 0. I'll just make everything else 0. The time I spent yesterday was really helpful for realizing how much I have, because every time I've sat down to try and write this, I've felt like I'm completely out of my depth. I don't know what I'm doing. I have nothing to write. I don't know what to say. And it's easy to forget the fact that I did a whole lot of work on 3 different plotting methods over the last couple of months. And I do have this list of scenes. So one of the things I did was I copied that information from my spreadsheet into my Word document where I'm working on my book. And it's strange, like I knew it was there. I was there when I did the spreadsheet, but I'd kind of forgotten how much there was. So that's all in the document now, which means I can simply go from one scene to the next and it's all in one place, and hopefully that'll keep me going. When it comes to results according to my spreadsheet, I've done 409 minutes since I started this project and 7,594 words. The actual word count in the document is 8,024 words, and the reason for that is just because that includes the planning information. Now, if we go to the NaNoWrimo website, if I'm completely honest with you, I'm not entirely sure why I'm updating the Nano website, because it's not tracking the goal I want to track, but oh well. So it was 883 words. I really wish there was something between the expressionless face and the smiley face for how the session went, because I don't feel like it's as smiley as the smiley face is, but I don't think it's as expressionless as the expressionless face is. And I'm going to make this 4:08 because I'm just going to count the productive time in the NaNoWrimo website rather than the full writing session. So here we can also see that the word count is different again. The reason for that is because my spreadsheet counts from the beginning of the project, and I did do like 2 small days of writing before April, so there's always going to be some discrepancy between what NaNoWrimo says and what my spreadsheet says. All in all, I'm actually feeling pretty good after yesterday and today. I by no means think that I'm going to produce a masterpiece in this experiment, but I feel like I have more of a foundation to continue. One of the challenges I have though is that my goal is 30 hours and I've been measuring productive time. So if like today I had a 2-hour session, but half of that was spent on Google Maps looking at different buildings, then that isn't 2 hours of productive time. It was 68 minutes of productive time. The problem is that that means it's going to be much harder to reach the 30 hours, and I don't know if I'm going to catch up. So okay, I'm just going to include the first 2 days in my total because that's easier than subtracting them while I'm working on this video. But we've got 409 divided by 10, which is 40.9 minutes a day. So I'm 200 minutes behind where I should be. So that's 3 hours and 20 minutes. And the thing that's a little bit challenging is I did 2 hours today. I could do 2 hours tomorrow and 2 hours on Sunday. And in theory, that should be enough for me to catch up. But if they're not productive hours, then it's not enough for me to catch up. So I'm not sure if I should measure total writing time or not. I need to think about this. In any case, I do want to be much more consistent, and I'm hoping that just having this long weekend and being able to recover from the craziness that has been my professional life over the past few weeks, over these coming days, will help and will put me in a better place for the rest of April. It is Saturday the 11th of April, and I've just done an hour of working on reciprocal stalking. And what's challenging is that it wasn't completely a productive hour because I was, occasionally looking things up, but it wasn't like yesterday where I was spending half an hour at a time wandering the streets of New York with Street View. So I am going to count it as an hour of writing, but I think one of the things I'm realizing with this project is just that it's going to move a bit slower than the last one because I'm a little bit out of my depth, and the further I get, the more questions come up that I haven't really thought about yet. So all in all, happy with my progress so far for today. I think I will try another writing session later today just to get my word count and my hours up. But for now, let's do the spreadsheet. So my session was from 10 to 11 a.m. Time was spent writing, 60 minutes, and my word count was 856 words. Scenes completed. One of the things I'm really struggling with this is that, and I struggled with this in my last book as well, is that I tend to write sequences of scenes and it's hard to figure out when one ends and one begins. So, in fact, I think if I make what I was doing now the continuation of the one I was doing earlier this week, then it would be 0.25 of a scene done. I need to figure out how to calculate scene lengths. Time to complete scene is 240 minutes. This doesn't feel right. I think I need to look at the formulas in this spreadsheet. But anyway, at least the information's there. The charts are updated and I can complete the NaNoWriMo website. So 856 words. And progress is updated. It is now about 6:15 in the evening, and even though I had the best of intentions to get back to writing today, I now know it is not going to happen. So the day went, I started with writing, which was good, but it then went to watching Community and going out to Pagliassare with my husband. There's like this national park / wetlands. It's the tip of, might be the tip of the country, but definitely the tip of Turin. So we went there for a walk and then got back and decided to do some more thumbnail photos, and suddenly it was 6 o'clock. So no more writing for me today, but I thought I would recap my stats from the last week as a way of signing off. So if I look at my spreadsheet, week 1, and I'm doing my week from Sunday the 29th of March. So week 1 I did 176 minutes, so that's just under 3 hours, and wrote 3,037 words. And week 2 I did 203 minutes, so about 3 hours and 20 minutes, and wrote 3,939 words. So in terms of word count, that's increased significantly compared to last week, especially considering that I didn't spend that much more time, so the word count has gone up disproportionately to the amount the time has gone up. which would be great if a word count was my target. Unfortunately, time is my target and that's not going up. But I still have hope. It has only been 2 weeks. It's the 11th of April, so there's still more than half of the month left. And I think that, at least I hope that, as I continue getting into the book, I will start spending more time on it. I also have a bit of an experiment in mind for next week, which I think is going to help me get some more time under my belt as well. So I will see you then. Bye.